What is ectoderma pigmentosum? I get that a lot. Literally, I've not told a single person about my capstone project that has not responded with what in the world is that. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to use my essay here as a guide because I just want to make sure that I get the information as accurate as possible. Alright, this is from Dr. Kramer's Gene Reviews. I'm going to say it in scientific terms and I'm going to go over it in layman's terms. So here we go. Ectoderma pigmentosum is a genetic disease characterized by cellular hypersensitivity to ultraviolet radiation, resulting from a defect in DNA repair. In other words, every time a person steps into the sun, or any type of ultraviolet radiation, which, you know, could be like fluorescent lighting, which this is not fluorescent lighting, but whatever kind of lighting this is or anything, we receive certain damage to our skin. However, we have a DNA repairing gene that heals any damage that is done. So, I mean, we don't even notice it half the time. Those with ectoderma pigmentosum are born without that disease, or are born without that gene, or the gene just doesn't feel like working. So that's why they get such a horrible side effect to it. They get burns, they get freckles, premature aging of the skin. Those are also the symptoms. There are 7 types of ectoderma pigmentosum, but in my capstone I talked about it generally because there's so little information on those. Trust me, I've looked. They're just none. No information. So, for all of them, the physical deformities are also considered the symptoms. And as you can imagine, by then it's like, well, thanks for the heads up, because, I mean, symptoms are the deformities. When do they arise? They normally arise 6 months after birth, which naturally that makes sense because, you know, we all go out in sunlight, and by the time we're about that age, you know, we're pretty much, you know, we're growing up. You know, we're little babies growing up. So, you know, that's when you start to notice a lot of deformities and stuff. Like I said, the physical deformities or symptoms are freckles, premature aging of the skin, and irregular dark spots. That's pretty much it for that question. Is there a cure? I don't think so. Because like I said, there's such a rare disease, there's not much funding for it. I mean, it is a type of cancer, it's a type of skin cancer, but a lot of the funding doesn't go to ectoderma pigmentosum because a lot of people don't even know it exists. So is there a cure? No. Is there treatment? I think that if it is like skin cancer, then pretty much they get the same kind of treatment skin cancer does, only, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. We can't really find much information about that. But no, there's not an official cure. You know the saying, 1 in a million? Well, yeah. It's 1 in a million. 1 in a million people. Actually, they have a camp in New York called Camp Sundown, I think, something like that, where little children can go to, that have ectoderma can go play in the night and stuff like that and have a lot of fun. But I've always imagined there's not really a lot of people that go. Actually, the guy hosts it in his backyard, if that says anything. So, yeah. Yeah, okay. How can you help? Well, there are Facebook pages. I've actually liked the one that has ectoderma pigmentosum from South Africa. I actually did not know it was from South Africa, but it is. And they post a lot of information up there and a lot of helpful links. So I'm making a brochure, so I'll put the links in there. There's lots of funding websites, I think, that have a lot of information, so I'm going to post those links up there too. And yes, and I just hope after you hear my capstone product or speech or whatever, that you'll be educated, and you can help spread the word. That was also my thesis. Why is XP such a difficult disease to cope with? Well, that wasn't my thesis, that was the question. But, why is it? Okay, well, like I said in my thesis, it is because it causes physical deformities that really don't go away. They don't go away. They restrict access to UV lighting and reduces social activity. Let me tell you a story I read about that I don't think I mentioned in my paper. On one of the funding websites that I'm going to put up there, there was a young man who had ectodermal pigmentosum. Something went wrong along the way. I guess he went into the light or something, and he was just totally deformed. It looked like he was like a burn victim or whatever. He was in a lot of pain and stuff. And I think he passed away, and it's really sad because his mom was talking about how they had to go on a train ride to get to the hospital or something like that, and people just kept staring at him and giving him weird looks, and he was really self-conscious about it, and I think that's really sad. There's also another story that I did mention in my paper about a little boy named Christopher, about how he would have to stay inside all the time, and he feels really self-conscious because he's covered in freckles, and it makes him feel dirty because it's covering the skin, and it's pretty low self-esteem because of it. It's really sad. I mean, aside from the social aspects, I mean, you also have to think about the pain that they go through, you think sunburn is bad? You don't know sunburn until it's 3rd degree or 2nd degree sunburn. Okay, that sounds like it hurts. I never had sunburn, and I'm glad I have it, but I'm just saying, you guys can't complain. Just saying. It's just their physical deformities. I mean, most of the symptoms are physical deformities, and that's like a giant flashing sign saying, "Come pick on me." I mean, because people don't know what's going on. I mean, you can say I have ectodermal pigmentosum, well, they'll give you the same blank looks that people give me every time I tell them about my capstone. What is it? Who cares? If I never heard of it, it must not be that important. But it is. It's really important. And yes. If I think of any more questions people ask me, I'll get back to you.